Okay, so this is the data set that I gave you guys to work on. And then at the same time, I also sent you guys some analysis for us to carry out. Like what to represent these PDFs, the information on this PDF, I want to represent them in pivot table because that's the pathway to us building a dashboard, right? So now this is what we're going to start with. We're going to start with the correction of last week class. I'm just showing you that you should have it on you should have it yourself. So the first one we're going to be doing is called the first one we're going to be doing here is called the employee count, right? So now based on this um data set that I sent to us, right? We are to get the count of employees that we have. Before we can get the count of employees, first of all, I'm going to introduce a pivot table. I'm going to bring out a pivot table in a new okay, first of all, I'm going to change the name. Remember, I want to change the name of this table. So table name, I'm coming, I'll just change it to employee data set. You don't have to, if you didn't change your own, it's fine. I'm just changing mine because I prefer it that way. Okay, so now I'm just going to go on to summarizing a pivot table. Then in a new worksheet. Okay. So now in this situation, yes, we are supposed to get the total number of employees that this particular data set has, right? And the one column that we can use to actually get the number of employees that we have is this employee ID, because every staff has their own ID, right? Now, I did removing duplicate with us last week. Well, means we're trying to remove duplicate values from this particular from data set or so. So now one thing you should know is that it's not everything it's not every column or it's not every data set that we just pick up any column and say, okay, we want to remove duplicates. No, it has to be one that is actually very, very important. Now look at this. In this column here, we have the employee ID, right? And in this column here, we have the employee name. There's a very high possibility that two or more people are bearing the same name, right? There's a very big possibility that two or more staff is bearing the same name. Now, because I know that, so like we have two or more staff bearing the same name, I'll not come here and come and tell you to remove duplicates. No. If I remove duplicate from this employee name, I'm going to be having less record of employees than what I originally have, which is not suitable. That's not what I'm actually trying to visualize, right? But one thing we can actually use to differentiate those those people that actually have two different names, that actually have the same names, is their employee ID. This employee ID is unique to everybody. If I'm coming in as a staff like this now, if I'm to use a school set as an example, even if I'm bearing Damilola and that person is bearing Damilola, I'm going to be having a different matric number. That person is also going to be having a different matric number. This same thing actually happened when I was in secondary school. So there are two girls. They have the same name, they have the same surname, they have the same middle name. The three names were alike. But the only thing we were able to use to differentiate them was that, oh, one was in that time we didn't even know the analysis. One was in art class, the other one was in commercial class. But that one is just on an informal level, right? But to take it up to the school setting, like the overall, those two girls are going to be having two reg numbers, right? So now in this particular aspect, now we're not trying to get the total number of employees that we actually do have. Now, in this one now, we can use employee ID and we can also use employee name, right? That's because the both of them are all these two columns, they're actually different, right? If this Todd Johnson, there's another Todd Johnson inside this employee name, the person's employee ID is different. So even if I'm using employee ID or I'm using employee name, I can use it I can use it to get the count of how many staff that we actually do have. But I want to be very direct. I'm going to be using the employee ID since that's just what identify each of the staff that we have. But to be on safe side, we are going to go on to this table design, and then we wanted to remove duplicates from this employee ID because having two employee ID mean it's just telling me that what they actually do have two people that are having the same thing in this data set here. So the best way to do this is to remove duplicate from this employee ID. So I'm going to come here to remove duplicate. I'm on table design. I'm going to remove duplicate. I'm going to unselect all, and then I'm telling you to what? Remove duplicate by employee ID. I'll tell you to what? Remove the duplicate by employee. So anybody that is having two employee IDs should be removed, because if that is how it's going to be, that means that particular those particular two are actually what? The same people. But if you actually do have duplicates, right, we can actually see if everything on that row align. If everything on that row align, we can now remove it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So employee ID, I want to remove duplicate by employee ID. I'll click on OK. No duplicate values found. That means there are no duplicate entries of any employee's information in this place. I'll click on OK. Now I'm not going to go back. I'm going to go ahead to my pivot table, and then I'm going to drag the employee ID into values. Why I'm not dragging it into rows and columns is because I'm not trying to get employee ID by, I'm not trying to get the count of employees by department or by gender or by year of hire. I'm trying to get the total number of employees that we have in that data set. How many employees do we actually have? And it's in this values box here, this values area that's going to tell us that it's doing aggregate function, it's actually giving us calculations, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag employee ID, left click and drag employee ID into the values. You can see it now that the first calculation that it actually did for me was what? The count. So now here I have what? 2,000 employees. It's as simple as that. I have what? 2,000 employees there. Even if you go back to this, our normal data set, and you highlight employee ID from the beginning, you will see the calculation down here. You tell you that what? The count is what? 2,000. But I'm not relying on this one. I'm relying on what my pivot table is actually giving me, which is what? 2,000 employees. So I'm just going to go ahead and rename this sheet. Now I told you, every sheet that we have, every sheet you open up for pivot table should be renamed. So I will know how to navigate when we're moving around. So count of employees. Yes, I have one down. I have what's the next analysis that I have? So this one was to get the average age of all employees. Now this one is actually the same thing also. We are not getting average age by department, or we're not getting average age by gender or anything. We want to get the typical age, the normal age that they actually do. The normal age in this particular data set, in this company, what's the typical age in this place here, right? If everybody is, let's assume in a primary school setting, in basic 5, they start taking the count of all the ages. Oh, this first person is 9, this one is 10, this one is 8, this one is 6. By the time they get the average, probably the average is going to be like 9. So that 9 is saying the typical age of the people that are supposed to be in basic 5 is what? 9 years old. It's not that anybody cannot be above 9, right? And it's not that nobody can be below 9. I'm just trying to check what they consider normal in that particular data set, right? So now we're trying to get the average age of all the employees. Are you getting it? We're trying to get the average age of all employees. So now I'm going to introduce another pivot table. Summarize the pivot table. Okay. So now I'm working with the age column, just the age column, and that age also I'm going to drop it into the values. I'm not dropping it rows or by columns, right? I want to help me to calculate the average age that it considers inside that data set. So I'm going to drop the age. Let's click and drag the age into values. Now the first thing this one did for me is sum that, because what I dragged in there was a column containing numbers. So now can anybody tell me how we can change this sum to average? How we can change the calculation to average? Any ideas? Any ideas? How we can change the calculation from sum count? I should right click, okay. And what next? After right clicking, what next should I do? In sum, okay, and summarize the pivot table. Thank you. So there are two ways actually. I told us two ways. Is it we're getting the result from right clicking inside the number here, right? Is that by clicking inside the number here, or we are doing it straight from this values box here? I'll just click on this drop down beside it, right? I'll click on the drop down, I'll click on value field settings, and I'll just go ahead to change it to average here. You can see that even the title here is saying summarize value by what, which is still what we're going to get from right clicking. So you can go about it in those two different ways. So I want to get the average, and I'll click on OK. Now, this is the average, meaning what? 41. We're going to round it down. Rounding, of course, is not 5. Rounding out to what? 41. Meaning the typical age in this particular data set is 41. And as you can see, people are older than this 41 that we actually have, and people are going to be younger than me. But that does not mean that's what this average is actually telling us to get. We're trying to get what actually do you find, what actually do you consider normal in this data set that I'm dropping into you. Are you getting it? So it's telling us that what the typical age in this data set here is what? 41. That's the typical age of everyone what working in that place is what? 41. I'm going to go ahead here and change this to average age of employees. Are you all following me, or I'm just talking to myself? Are we getting what I'm saying? Manuel said yes. Okay. Thank you very much for your response. Okay. All right. So now that's for the second one. That's for the second analysis that I actually asked us to go about. Then the third one is the average monthly salary. So it's still the same thing with these two, right? But to get what? The average monthly salary. It's not, if you're in Nigeria, you should understand this minimum wage kind of stuff. The minimum wage, I think, is 77K, 77,000, right? But it's not that nobody. The question says average age of all. Yes, now I'm getting the average age of all the employees. I'm not getting it by department. I'm not getting it by gender. I'm getting of all of them at the same time. Just watch the video. Don't let us drag others back. Okay, so as I was saying, where was I? Okay, yes, average monthly salary. Yes, the average monthly salary is also going to be getting a pivot table of its own. A pivot table, new worksheet. Okay. So now this one, now I know what I'm dropping. I'm only dropping monthly salary into the values. If you look at this analysis, why we're only dropping this one is because we don't have it, we're not getting it by anything. We're not getting total sales by product. We're not getting total revenue by product. If I ask questions like get the total revenue is only we just need you to drop revenue into the values for pivot table to just what? Get you the total sum. But when I asked, okay, we want to get total revenue by each product that we have, then we know that we're working with two columns there. We're working with the product column, and we're also working with what? With the total sales. Then we'll now drop products into rows or columns, and then we'll drop what we actually wanted to calculate for us into the values. That's why we're actually dropping these ones into value. We just need calculations from it. We don't need it to, we're not trying to visualize this one in charts or anything. So average monthly salary of all employees. I'm going to go ahead here and just drop the monthly salary. Where is it? Okay, monthly salary into the values. So this one is doing sum. So we're going to just go ahead here and change it to average. I've gotten this part now. So I'm going to change this title. Don't mind me with this title. You understand what I'm doing? It's average monthly salary. Okay. Now, these ones, if you look at this particular thing that I gave, you can see KPI, KPI, KPI. These three here, these three that there's KPI beside it, there are those analyses that we cannot visualize on charts. Not that we cannot. We don't visualize them on charts. They are more like a quick at a glance kind of analysis. They're like key points, right? I'm not visualizing them in chart or anything. I'm just trying to see those things. By the time I open up, by the time I start building out that, I'm going to be able to see those key points on my dashboard, right? I want to see the employee count, I want to see the average age, I want to see the average monthly salary. Those ones are just like that. Are you getting it? While these ones now, this one are not telling me that what monthly salary by department, employee count by department. Now, these ones are what we now are, what we're now going to what? Representing in charts. KPI. KPI means key performance indicators. Are you getting me? When we talk about KPI, they mean key performance indicators. So we use charts. That means those analysis that we're trying to show on our dashboard, right? These are KPIs. Everything here like this, they are KPIs. Are you getting me? Everything here like that KPI. Those key performance indicators that we're actually trying to represent through our dashboard, right? But these three, 1, 2, 3 here, these three that we have at the beginning here, they are more like I said earlier, they are data points. They are key points. We visualize them in cards and just boxes, right? We're not showing them on charts. But why these ones here? They are KPIs also. They also key performance indicators, right? But these ones we're going to be visualizing them through charts. Do you understand? So what we're building, their KPI is called a KPI dashboard, right? But these ones that we cannot visualize in charts, they are called like data points. They are called key metrics and all that. Do you understand? Why these ones are the ones that we are going to be showing in the different charts that we have on our Excel dashboard, on our Excel, right? So now we're done with these three KPIs that we have here, these three data points that we have here. We're now going to go ahead to now start answering the monthly salary by department. So we're now to get monthly salary by department. Now that one is also a pivot table on its own. So table design, summarize the pivot table. Okay. So now, Olubumi, if you can see now, the question is now different. Are you getting me? The question is now different. Now, this one, that's telling us to get what? Monthly salary by department. Now, I'm not working with only values this time around. I'm working with department and monthly salary. So department is going to be coming into the rows. I want to see them. I want to see the departments in rows. I have this, how many departments? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 departments. Now, I want to get the monthly salary by each of the departments. So now I'm done with the department. I'm now going to go further to drop the monthly salary into values. So you can see it. We have the total salary the total monthly salary that we actually spent in this data set is 13,35,718 dollars. Okay, it's dollars. Are you getting it? But this is how it was distributed amongst the departments that we have. Are you getting it? So I've gotten the monthly salary per each department. I'm going to change this one to monthly salary by department. Yep. That's it. Then we're going to go ahead to bring in another pivot table. Because if I'm going too fast for you, please tell me so I can come back. So pivot table. So what's the next one that I have? I have employee count per department. Another thing, you can see this one now. This one is employee count per department. So now, out of that 2,000 that we have, how many are they in each department? That's what we're trying to get here now. So now we know we're still working with departments in rows. Then what will I drop in the values to get the count? What will I drop here again? I need answers. What will I drop in the values for you to give me the count of each of them? Yes, we can. I showed you how to sort last week, didn't I? Just right-click inside, then sort. Yes, so sort from largest to smallest. You can see it. Okay, people are saying employee ID. People are saying we can use anyone, actually. We can use anyone. Without using the employee ID to count, or we're using the employee name to count, or we're using the department itself to count. Are you getting me? We can use any of them. So if you tell it that, okay, we want to get the employee ID by each department, you can see it's still distributing it amongst them, right? Because everything, all the tables, they are all working hand in hand. Are you getting me? So if one ID is going against a department, it's going to count it for us. So we're either using, you can either use the department itself to get the count, or use the employee name, or you use the employee ID, anyone. So let's use department. I've used the employee ID now. Let's use department now. So you can see that it's still the same thing. Do you understand? You can use it to get any of them. So this one is count of employee, count of employee. This is stressful. Per department. Yeah, anyone. I just said you can use anyone. So now that's for the, what question is this? Number 5. Yes. So now we now have employee hiring trend per year. So I think I was seeing some mistakes in the the assignment that I gave on this particular aspect. So this one is like, per each of the years that that all of you were hired. Are you getting me? Not you, not obviously not you guys, but like these people here. So like, per each of the years that they were hired, how many were they hired per each year? In 2021, how many people did we hire? In 2012, how many people did we hire? That's that's what the question is actually trying to say. Are you getting me? So we have to get the hiring trend per year. So pivot table, pivot table, pivot table. Yep. So here now I'm going to be dropping in okay, set hiring trend per year. Okay, yes. So I'm going to drop year of hire. Are you getting me? I'm working with year of hire now. I'm dropping the year of hire into the rows. I have how many of them? 4 to 19, that's 15, right? Yes. So now this one now, I'm going to redrop year of hire into values to get the count of them. So these are the count. This was how often we actually hired them. 2009, 22, 2010, 110, 2011, 130, and all that. I see it. So this is the hiring trend per each of the years. Do you understand? So there's a particular chart that we can use to represent this one. Okay, your own January 150. I don't understand though. So I've gotten the count, the hiring trend per year. I'm going to go ahead to change this one to hiring trend. Yeah. See, it's as simple as that. So I'm going to bring in yeah. You guys should hold your question. Whatever question you have, just hold. Let us finish the class, please. I'll answer when we're done. So summarize the pivot table, new worksheet, yes. So now for this next one, we have to get monthly salary by job role, by their jobs. So this one we're working with the job role and monthly salary. So job role is coming into rows, right? While monthly salary is also coming into values. Yes. So you have the monthly salary by what? By the job rules. I'm going to go ahead to just change this. Monthly salary by job. Okay, let me just job rules. Yes. So the next one is let's see, what's the next one? Monthly salary by educational level. Yes. Monthly salary by educational level. So monthly salary by educational level will be having educational level drop and monthly salary again also dropped. Education level dropped, monthly salary also dropped. So we have the bachelor's, we have the master's, and we have the PhD. So monthly salary by education. Okay, so we now have, what next do we have? We have the top 5 salary earners. We have an idea of how we're going to do this one. Let me bring out the pivot table first. We are to get the top 5 salary earners. How do we go about this one? So that one, we're trying to get the 5 salary earners, right? So that one, we're dropping it. What somebody said by name, right? So we're going to be dropping the employee name into the rows. I want to see all the employees that we actually do have. So I'm dropping the employee name column into the rows. I have all this. Then I'm going to drop the monthly salary. I'm dropping the monthly salary into the values also. So now I have how much they actually do collect as their what? As their salaries. So now I'm going to go ahead to now get the top 5. I'm going to go ahead to what? To get the top 5. Thank you. We don't even need to sort. Yes. So we'll just come here to the filter beside this row labels here. The filters here. Oh no. Right click, sorry. Right click inside there and then tell it to what am I going to say? I'm trying to get the top 5 now. It's from here. I'll click on this filter button here, then value filters. Then I'll come down to top 10 and then reduce it to 5. I'll come here and just reduce it to 5. Then okay. So now I have my what? I have my top 5 salary earners. I have my top 5 salary. So please, guys, give me 1 minute. Let me just tell people in the group that we are live so that they can join the class back. Okay, so I'm back. I told them, let's just hold them join. So now we have gotten the what? We have gotten the top 5 salary earners. So what if we want to see the top? I mean, we can sort, right? We can sort it. We can tell you to what? Sort from largest to smallest. I want to see the person actually collecting the highest salary. So I'll just right click inside there, then I'll tell you to sort. So she sorts from largest to smallest. So now Mary Jones is the person that collects what? The highest salary in this particular aspect. So we have what? Mary Jones, 22,103 and all that. So now that's for this one. I'm going to just rename this to top 5 salary earners. Yep, I have this. Yep. So the next analysis we're going to be doing here is the top 5 longest serving employees. And how are we going to determine that? The top 5 longest employees. How are we going to determine that? So employee name, data analysis. Well, I need responses. How are we going to get the top 5 longest staff? Nobody's answering. Have you not heard me? Okay, name and number of years spent. The employee name in a row. Okay, yes. Since we want to get the top 5 this thing, okay. Years at company. All right, let us try that. So I'm going to drop the employee name into the rows, right? I'm going to drop employee names. Then I'm going to scroll down. What do you say we're going to use? Years at company. Yes, years at company. So I'm going to drop this years at company into the values. And it says we should get what? The top 5 longest serving employees. So that one we're still getting what? Top 5 also. I'm going to go ahead to this filter here and then tell you that I want to filter the top 5. Okay. I have the top 5 longest serving. Am I correct? Is this correct? Yes. Okay. Baba Abdul, thank you very much. So okay, we should sort. We don't even need to sort. It doesn't matter. But okay, let's just sort. Let's sort. Sort largest to smallest. Okay, that's one down. So we have top 5. I hope I'm not boring you with this class. Oh. Top 5 longest serving. Let me just put longest. How this class is not boring you? If it's boring you, let me know. So you can put music. Okay, not at all. All right, I'm glad. Okay, so the next analysis that we're going to be doing is called the monthly salary by gender. So how much is the female gender collecting? Okay, now it's from even this place we're going to see how many genders do we actually do have. Because some people will say I don't want to answer. You know, all these surveys, they'll be like, I don't want to answer and all that. So I'm going to drop the gender into the rows. You can see it, you have orders. People that don't want to talk. Here. And then we're going to drop monthly salary also into the values. We want to get the monthly salary by each of gender. Wow. All of them is over 4 million each. So this one is going as monthly salary by gender. Monthly salary. Wait, I'm not seeing Chantel Val in this class. I'm not seeing her today. Is she around? Don't worry. With time, I'm going to memorize our names. Just so overload your work. Okay, so we've done monthly salary by gender. We now have absentees by department. People that used to run away from work. I'm part of. I'm not part. I'm not part. I'm a very hardworking staff. So summarize values with pivot table. Okay, so they said we should get the what's it called? Absentees by department. For each of the department absentees. So department into rows, and then absences into values. Yes. So absentees by department. Yep. Okay. So we're going to go on and do the top 10 employees with highest absence rate. You know, when we hear top 10, we're always thinking, oh, probably it's just one good thing that they want to say, like top 10 by country, top 10 revenue by country and everything. Now, this one is shocking us with top 10 employees with highest absence record. Wow. Okay. 10 employees. Okay, now that one we're working with what? Employee names. We're working with employee names. Summarize. Okay. I wish there was a keyboard shortcut for this pivot table stuff. All this going back to clicking is stressing my head. So employee name, yes. And then is there a shortcut? If you know, please tell me. They're about okay. So for absentees by department, are we using sum or count? Let's see. Absences, right? Are dropping in here. So the first one here says sum. What do you guys think? Is it sum we're using or count? The employee per year is wrong. Which one I don't know what? Count, some said count, some said sum. Some. Okay. What's your other one? Laura, please can you clarify? Sum count. The first year, the first person was hired was 2009. Alt plus M plus V. Okay, I'll try that later. Okay, so let us see. Laura, we'll get to your question now. So we said, are we using sum or count? Okay, let us scroll down. I feel like it's sum actually. It should be sum because we want to get the total number of times that each person actually took leave or actually came in, filled out absences, right? So it is sum. So for this first person, for Johnson, what's the number of? We took 21. Are you getting me? So I think it is sum. It is sum. I don't know what thing. It is sum. So we're trying to get the total number of total number of absences that each of our staff actually do have. Yes, the sum. They were absent. Yes. So it is sum. So we have to get the top 10, right? Yes, the people with the highest number of absences. So we're coming back here to just do the top 10. So we're not trying to change anything. Okay, we have them here. Total number of times that it came in absent. So absent, what's the name of this? Oh, what should I call this sheet? Employee with absence record. This is wrong. Top 10 absence record. Yes, don't worry. We'll answer questions. Don't let me look at the chat box so you can continue. After the class, we'll take questions and answers. So we have performance ratings by employee level. Yes, performance ratings by employee levels. Summarize the pivot table. Okay. So employee ratings by educational levels. I'm dropping the educational level into my box and then performance ratings. Okay. This one is going to go to column. Do you know why this thing is going to column? This is how this one is going to be. So I want to get the total number of the performance ratings per each of the educational levels, right? So we have the performance. If you see the sheets that we are actually working on, there's a column containing the ratings itself. Are you getting? There's a column containing the ratings itself. We have the good, we have the neat improvement, we have the excellent, we have the unsatisfactory. I think that's all. 5 or so. So we want to get per each of the bachelor's, per each of the educational levels, we want to get the count of the performance ratings that they actually do have, right? So we are using the column for the if statement. We use if to actually grade them on those scores, right? Where we now have the excellent, we have the good, we have the needs improvement, we have the satisfactory, unsatisfactory, right? So we have this here. For the bachelors, they have their own scores. For the masters, they have their own. For the PhD also, they also have their own. Yeah. Performance ratings, performance by Edu. So the next one is performance ratings by department. Yes, performance ratings. Whatever question you have, let us write it down in the sheet. Keep answering questions. I'm going back. So employee data set, yeah. So by department, I'm dropping the department in the rows, and then performance ratings in this part here, and then performance ratings again into the values. So I've gotten the accounts. So performance by department. Performance by department. Okay. So what's the next one that we have? We have educational level by gender. Do you guys want me to finish this analysis? Educational level by gender. Or we should go to the next one. Educational level by gender. Educational level by gender. Educational level. I've asked the question. Should I continue this or we should go to the next one that we have? Okay. To continue. I'm almost through. Okay, let me just continue. So we have educational level by each of the genders. So I'm going to drop the gender. I can drop the gender into filters. I want to see if you guys will understand. I dropped the gender into the filters and I dropped it into the values, right? So now this one has told me the count of all of them. For everybody in bachelor's, for everybody that has the degree of the bachelor's degree, right? They are 635. Well, if I want to see for only the female gender, I can come here and change it to only female. Then okay. I will only have the count of the female genders here. Are you getting it? And that's what this filter box is for. It's just for selective analysis. I just want to see one specific thing at a time. So we can either use this filters area here, or we can use it in our dashboard itself using slicers. So instead of this, I'm not going to use these filters here. I'm just going to drop it inside the column. Yes. So I just add the count. I have the analysis straight on my sheet here. So I'll just change this one to edu by gender. Edu by gender. Yeah. Okay. So the last, okay, not last. Gender distribution across departments. So another pivot table. Gender distribution amongst departments. So just like the one we just did now. Gender, department here, gender here. Or we can do it side. We can put gender into rows and put department into columns. Doesn't really matter. Gender into this part here. Okay. I have this already. So department by gender. Department by gender. Okay. So summarize pivot table. Okay. What's the next one that we have? We have monthly salary by age group. Now this one is now where we're going to introduce our grouping. So yeah, I'm going to drop the age into the rows. I'm dropping the age into the rows. Values below. Drop it into rows to see them. And the monthly salary, right? I'm going to drop the monthly salary into this place here. And I'm going to go ahead to now group the ages I'm going to group them in tens. So group by 10. And I'll click on OK. So I have this already. So salary, monthly salary by age. Okay. Is this all clear? I think I'm done. That's the last one. That's the last one. Yep. Is this all clear? I grouped it by 5 and it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm done with the analysis. Is this fine? Are we good? If you have question, just let me know about 80% percentage. Is this clear? If you have any other question, answer it after the class. You understand? Answer after the class. Okay. All right. So now we're now going to go on to how we can represent these things in our chart, right? We don't just have this pivot table for my namesake. Thank you. Watch the play. We're grouping. I'm grouping them. I'm putting them in segments. That's the ages. I'm putting them in segments. Okay. So now, as I said, we're now going to working with how to use our chart to represent all these pivot tables that we have. I get to know. How do we represent them in chart? So now you should know that before we can represent this chart, we must actually be inside a pivot table. We must be in a pivot table. Okay. Now, this one is the first KPI. I'm not using this KPI. I'm not using this also. These ones are not in charts. I'm not using this also. They are not representing it in charts. But from here, from this monthly salary by department, what I want to start representing in charts, right? So now, me clicking inside this pivot table that I am on presently, you will see two tabs that are out. You will see the pivot table analyze tab, and you will see the design tab. Are you getting me? So these two works with this pivot table that I am on. Are you getting me? So now, me clicking on it, I'm just going to go to pivot table analyze. I want to bring out a pivot chart. Are you getting me? I want to bring out a pivot chart, a chart to represent this pivot table that I am on presently. So now I'm just going to pivot. I'm presently in the pivot table. Then I'll come here to pivot chart. Now, inside this pivot chart is where you're going to see the different charts that we have, the different chart that works with what we're going to be representing. Are you getting it? We have the column, we have the line, we have the pie, we have the bar, we have the area, scatter. Okay, now look at it. From scatter, from this scatter down to box and whisker. No, I think waterfall 2 is not working. Funnel 2 is not working. It's not that they cannot work. We can represent them, but you can see what they're writing. It says we cannot create this chart type with data inside a pivot table. Are you getting me? But this one say 1, 2, the column, the line, the bar, the pie, the bar, the area, they work perfectly well with pivot tables, right? But these other ones, they work. We can represent it. We can use this. We can represent any of these charts here with this particular data set here, but we cannot use them inside a pivot table. That's what's the difference. Are you getting me? But we're going to see how they actually do work, right? We're going to work with the ones that actually do work with pivot tables first. That's the one we're going to be using first. So the first one is the column chart. The first one is the column chart. So when do we actually use this column chart? When do we actually need them? When do we use it to visualize, right? So we actually use them when we're trying to see which category has the highest or lowest values. I want to see how high and how low my data is actually on. Are you getting me? We can use the column or the bar. So now you can see that the column and the bar, they're actually the same thing, just that one is representing it in the vertical aspect, while one is in the horizontal aspect. So these two, they actually use when we're trying to like see categories that have the highest or the lowest values. It's not all these charts that works with. How will I explain it? All these charts, they have their own specific use. They have where they actually do shine. Do you understand? So in situations where we want to use column and bar is where we have situations like I'm trying to see comparison with two or more categories. I want to see how high and how low. So those two or more categories are actually going to shine. Are you getting it? In situations like this one, are you getting it? In situations like this, I want to visualize the monthly salary of all these departments. Do you understand? So it's either I'm using the column chart or I'm using the bar chart. Any one of them. You can see how it is. Oh, this bar chart is clustered. Let's see the column. Let's use this column. Now, as it is now, I am on the column chart. You see, that's why it is showing me like this. All I have to do is just click on OK. Then it's going to bring in the chart inside for me, inside my sheet. Do you understand? Are you seeing it? I have my chart inside my sheet now. So I have my chart inside. I have my chart inside my sheet now. Are you seeing it? It is representing the department by the monthly salaries. We have the x-axis and the y-axis. Okay, these ones are the y-axis. The numbers here are the y-axis. While the letters here are the x-axis, right? I think that's how it is. Yes. So now, this is how we bring in a chart. Do you understand? We just have to be clicked inside that chart. Or we just have to be clicked inside the pivot table. And then go on to pivot table analyze to bring in the chart itself. Are you getting it? You click on the chart I want to use and then bring it in. And another way we can bring it in is to use the chart type inside insert tab. To go to what? Insert tab and bring in the chart itself. Are you getting it? As I am on, I'm still inside the pivot table and I am on the insert tab. Do you get it? I'll just click on this. You can see it. We have the chart box just recommended to chart itself. I have the chart box itself. So now for me to see all of the chart that I actually do have, I'm going to click on this arrow right here. I'm going to click on this small arrow here to bring out all the charts. You can see that it's still the same thing that the pivot table analysis is bringing for us. So now here is where we can now choose the different kind of charts that we want to use to visualize. Are you getting it? And in the column bar, in the column chart, we can use anyone. See the first one here. We have another one that says the stacked column. It's just the visualization is just different. Are you getting it? But everything here is used to get comparison across categories. Do you understand? You can use any one that we actually want to use. But it is best to try to make your dashboard as professional as possible. Not say because I'm trying to make it fine. I'm not using different colors and all that. And another thing, when we are building our dashboard, right? When we are trying to build our dashboard on Excel or Power BI or anything, we must let us make sure we use colors very minimal. Are you getting me? We don't have to join colors as join blue, join green, join yellow, join everything at the same time. Why? It's not good. It's not even professional. Are you getting me? At the minimum, you can just use 3 colors to make sure your dashboard is very, very beautiful. Are you getting me? But we're not actually talking about colors here. Are you getting me? I'm just trying to tell you that when we start building our dashboard, just know it ahead that what build your dashboard with a minimum of what of three colors, 3 colors at most. It is fine already. But this is how we bring in the chart. You can see it being on the pivot table. You go to your pivot table, analyze, and then you bring in your chart. And we click on OK. I brought in the chart already. Let me delete this one. Sorry. Delete. I have my chart available. Are you getting me? I have my chart available. Then we'll now go on to, let's go to this next one. We have count of employees. Okay, count of employees per department. Now, this kind of situation also, we can also use either the bar chart or the column chart. Are you getting me? You can use either the bar chart or the column chart. Or let me just explain the different type of chart that we have so that we'll know how to use them very well. Okay, so the first one is the what? The column chart. I've explained what we actually use that one for, right? Now, the second one is now the line chart. Now, this one, it's not that we cannot use it for this particular category comparison or anything, but this line chart is more like we're trying to show trends over time. I get. I'm trying to show how the data is changing over a period of time. I want to see, like, just like that hiring trend per year. I want to see how it is changing per each of the years. The best chart to use for that particular visualization is the line chart. That one is basically for what? For showing us trends over time. Are you getting me? And for 2021, how high did we sell? For 2022, how high did we sell? Something like that. Are you getting me? So we use the line chart purposely for what? Showing trends over time. We're trying to illustrate how our data is actually changing over a period of time. Are you getting me? Then we now have the pie chart. We now have this pie chart. Are you getting me? So now this pie chart is used to we use it to show percentages of a whole. Out of a whole, how what percentage are you actually taking? What proportion are you taking? That's what we use this pie chart to do. And by using this pie chart, we try to use just the way I explained the color now. We don't me personally, I don't like to bombard my pie chart with so many data sets. Are you getting me? Something like this one now that we're seeing here. Just like this one that we're seeing here. I don't like to use pie chart in situations like this. I try to be minimal in using my pie chart in situations like this one here. Let me see. Where is that gender one that we have? Let's see. Okay, we can use this one. Monthly salary by gender. Now look at it. This particular pivot table now is just showing me just 3 things. Just 3 things. I'm just trying to get how the proportion of all of them out of a whole. Are you getting me? Now this is the data set that wrong zone. Let me just be fast. So now we have, as I was explaining earlier, this pie chart is basically used for showing percentages out of a whole. And I try to use it in situations whereby I don't have so many data sets in my pivot table. Are you getting me? Something like this one. I'm trying to just visualize just 3 things. I can come into pivot chart and pick a pie chart, and it's going to look at this now. I can use this ones too. Are you getting me? I can use column chart. It is perfectly fine. But if you look at it in a pie chart now, you can see how beautiful it is looking. We also have it having what? Visualizing just 3 things: the female, the male, and the other. Do you understand? So we try to use this pie chart in situations whereby we are trying to get how much of a total is contributed to each categories. Do you understand? So this pie chart is best for simple composition, something like this one. And we don't generally use it for comparison. We don't generally use it for distribution like column charts or bar chart or something like that. Are you getting me? So we use it for what? Simple chart like this that just have just few things to display on. Are we getting what I'm saying? Is what I'm saying? Is it entering? Okay. So that is not as we can use any of those charts for different things, but just let us know their own strength when we actually use them, right? Let me continue. But don't worry, I'll send you a link or let's send a link. You guys should go and read on it. Read more on how on those different charts that we have so that you can see how they work. So don't just rely on what me I'm saying. I'm just saying it based on what me I actually do know and what I do prefer. So you can go on and check for yourself. So now I've talked about column, I've talked about line, I've talked about pi, I've talked about bar. Now let's talk about area. So this one is similar to all this for this similar to all this column. So it's more like using so we just want to check the changes between two or more data points. Are you getting me? You can see that it's not really showing me how high or how low they are. It's just showing me the points at which they are presently on. We have I don't really use this area charts because it's not to me it's not actually no, it's not that fine. I mean, I like fine. But you can use it. Don't worry. You can use it. So now if you look at these other ones now, this X and Y scatter chart is not working. Map also is not working. Stock, not working. Surface, okay. You said we need that two series of data. I'm not using that one. We have radar or radar, whatever. Tree map not working. Sunburst not working. So this one is going to be actually one of our assignments. Let us see how these ones work. Do you understand? I told you it works. I want us to go and see the purpose. To go and check out the purpose of what this chart actually does. And these other ones too. Let us check it out too, please. Let us read on it so that by the time we start building our dashboard, it won't be new to us. We can just start picking any chart and then we can just start working. You understand? So now there's something else we should know. You know, when I gave you that data set, I was the one that gave you the analysis myself to go and look for, right? We can there's something we can do on Excel that we don't need to start racking our brain to get those analysis. There's something called recommended pivot table on our distance. So I'm going to bring out a new pivot table. Hey, rain wants to follow. I'm going to bring out a new pivot table. Now, right beside pivot chart, we are going to see recommended pivot tables for us. So you can see it. If you see the explanation, it says, want us to recommend pivot tables that summarize your complex data. Right. This one just give us recommendation, just giving us pivot tables that it can actually find from our data set. So if you click on it now, we should have different ones. We have the sum of monthly salary by location. We have count of employee ID by location. We have the sum of monthly salary by department. We did this one now. We don't need this one. We have sum of monthly salary by gender. We need this one too. Count of employee by job role. We didn't do this one. So you can see that it is just giving us recommendations based on what we have on our data set already. Just giving us recommendations based on what we have. So count of employee ID per performance ratings. Okay. So we can see that we have different ones. So if you don't have what you can actually get from if you like, how will I explain it? If you don't have your own analysis in your head, or probably you're not giving analysis to actually analyze yourself, you can get it from recommended pivot table. Nobody's asking you to go the hard way. You can always get recommendations from pivot table itself, from our Excel itself, giving us what different recommendations for us to use to visualize. Do you understand? My time will soon. Do you understand this part? Okay. My time will soon go. All right. So I wish I can actually. The thing is, if this time should If this time should elapse now, just give me another 10 minutes, do ball. Let's see. Okay, so I said I've given you one assignment, the different type of chart. Let us see how it works, right? And then, I told you that I checked about 40% of our assignment, right? So I'm going to give us another data set for us to work with a pivot. We're going to work with pivot tables, but this time around, I'm not giving you analysis to work with. You guys should be the one to generate your own analysis. I want to see about nothing less than 12. Nothing less than 12 analysis from that data set that you actually have. Jesus, this one that I gave you myself is more than 12 now. It's not more than 12. Why are people shouting her? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See, I gave you 11. It's not even 11 yet. 11, 12, 13, 14. It's more than already. So nothing, you can have 12 on double, nothing less than 12, please. Let us see. And in what you are doing, you can use some as KPIs. That's just one that we're not visualizing on, but that we're not going to be visualizing on chat. You can use those ones also as part of your KPI, as part of your pivot tables, right? We can use that. But hold on, Laura, let me just finish the assignment. So the two things we have to get. Oh, okay. Let me be fair. Let's say 10 at most, right? Let's just say 10. So about 4 can be your data points. 4 can be your key points. Those key points that we have, 4 can be it. While the other 6 can be the ones that we're going to visualize in chat. You can, after reading on those types of charts that we have, you can. It's perfectly fine. You can bring out different charts. Or should I include it? Let's have chats too. Richmond, thank you for giving me answer. Thank you for giving me inspiration. Let us have chats too inside. After reading on those charts that we actually do have, let me see charts on our sheet also. I shall bring in a pivot table, represent it with charts. Do you understand? I shall bring in a pivot table, represent it with charts, so we can see how those charts actually do work. You understand? So yes. Okay, so Laura, can we have your question now? So please, how was today's class? Please let me know if it was okay. Let me know if it was okay. Must we sort before we visualize them? No. We don't need to sort. We start with Roots. Me myself. I'm supposed to be on holiday like this. I'm supposed to be on holiday too. But yeah, I'm teaching you, right? Because we need to learn. No. You're not to see my face. Less than 1 minute. Laura, if it is okay, you know what? Can you send me a DM with the question so that I can answer? Or you can just drop it in the group so that I can answer. You understand? We have less than 10 minutes. Okay. So you guys, thank you so much. Natasha, sorry, I have less than 10 minutes for the class to end. So thank you so much for tonight's class. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you. I will give you a data set. I'll give you a data set. Yes, we are doing another pivot table with chat. I love the movie I saw at the beginning. It's Korea, it's K-drama. Richard, I've mentioned this. You can do everything on one chart. It's just for navigation. I just want to be able to just know what I'm working with at one particular time. That's why I'm doing it on different charts. You can. Okay, so Laura, Baba Abdul, I will send another data set for you. Don't worry. All right, thank you very much for tonight.